Have you ever noticed that worry feels like movement, yet it takes you absolutely nowhere? It's as if your mind is running on a treadmill, sweat dripping, muscles straining, yet you're still standing in the same place. Worry grabs hold of you, convinces you that by turning the problem over and over in your head you're making progress. But in reality you're stuck in quicksand. The harder you wrestle, the deeper you sink, and yet somewhere inside there's a whisper. A quiet, persistent voice suggesting that if you could just release your grip, something greater would be there to catch you. What if that whisper was telling the truth? What if the very effort to control everything is the exact barrier keeping the solution away? Because life has a current, unseen, unstoppable, a force that rearranges reality in ways no human logic can predict. But here's the paradox. It only begins to move when you loosen your hands from the wheel. That is where the impossible begins. You've already felt this truth before. The moment you let go, something greater starts to move. But worry, relentless as it is, insists that survival depends on you gripping tighter, imagining every worst-case scenario, rehearsing disaster, as if that could somehow protect you. Yet in reality, the more you cling, the more you block the very flow that could bring resolution. Worry doesn't serve you. It may disguise itself as preparation, but it is preparation for the wrong outcome. Worry is rehearsing failure before it even arrives. It drains your vitality, narrows your vision, weakens your faith. It convinces you that you're doing something useful, when all you're really doing is fueling the very cycle you long to escape. Every moment spent in worry is a moment stolen from the power that can actually change your situation. And while you may think that worry proves you care, that it keeps you sharp and ready, the truth is this: caring and worrying are not the same. Care invests in action. Worry invests in fear. One builds, the other destroys. The universe does not need your sleepless nights to act on your behalf. It doesn't require you to anticipate every disaster. What it asks for is your openness, your willingness to step out of the storm of what if and into the calm of what will be. Think of worry as static on a radio. The signal of guidance is always being broadcast, but the noise drowns it out. You strain to hear, desperate for clarity, but the only way to receive it is to quiet the static, to breathe deeper, loosen your grip, and trust that you don't need to micromanage every outcome to be safe. And here's the shift. When you redirect your focus, everything changes. Imagine standing in a dark room with only a single candle. If you keep staring into the corners where shadows gather, the room feels colder, more suffocating. But the moment you look toward the flame, the light expands. The shadows remain, but they lose their power. This is what happens when you turn your focus from the size of your obstacle to the strength of the universe. The problems may still be there, but they no longer dominate you. The light of trust grows, and with it, the path forward becomes visible, and then faith begins to take root, not as a vague idea, but as a living force. Faith is more than believing the universe can act. It is living as though the universe will act. Faith doesn't wait for proof. It builds the bridge as you walk across it. Worry demands certainty before moving. Faith thrives in uncertainty, because it knows uncertainty is the space where the universe does its best work. Every act of faith, no matter how small, signals that you are aligning with possibility instead of fear. And when your actions reflect that alignment, the universe responds. This is where many stumble. They claim to trust, but live as though disappointment is inevitable. They speak hope with their lips, but their choices prepare for failure. But faith cannot be half-claimed. It requires consistency, not perfection, but a steady return to trust, even after moments of doubt. And once faith becomes posture, the next lesson appears: timing. Worry demands immediate results. Faith breathes. It trusts the rhythm of answered prayers that no clock can measure. Real growth is never rushed. A seed does not argue with the soil or bargain with the season. It settles. It receives. It strengthens in the dark. And then, all at once, it breaks through the surface. Your life follows the same law. Delays are not denials. They are refinements. During the pause, the universe aligns people, places, and possibilities you could never arrange on your own. Inside you, fears dissolve, clarity sharpens, capacity expands. What once overwhelmed you becomes exactly what you are ready to carry. So while you wait, stay in motion, but not in panic. Keep tending the space you created. Speak life over your future. Take the next honest step. Replace the restless countdown with presence. Each day lived in trust is a signal, and signals add up. and when the timing ripens, it feels inevitable. Doors you once strained to open swing wide with ease. Paths you never mapped unfold beneath your feet. Every silence, every detour, every pause suddenly makes sense. You see how perfectly it all aligned. This is why worry can never steward a miracle. It narrows your vision, locks your grip, traps you in the very cycle you're desperate to escape. You were not made to manage every variable. You were made to partner with a power larger than anything you can imagine, so you choose a different posture. You stop rehearsing disaster and start preparing for breakthrough. You release the illusion of control and step into deliberate trust. Each breath becomes a vow. I will not feed the storm. I will nourish the calm. And in that space, the universe meets you. Faith remains the turning key, not as performance, but as reality, tidying the space for what you've asked to receive. Speaking with assurance instead of fear, taking the next step without demanding to see the entire map. Trusting the pause as part of the precision, and then the impossible arrives. Doors open that effort could not budge. Roads appear that planning could not design. You feel the ease of alignment and the perfection of timing. So let this be your closing instruction and your daily practice. Release the weight. Choose trust. Act in faith. Honor the timing. And watch as the impossible finds you, right on time, exactly as it was always meant to.